Hello everyone, it's Dylan from Yu-Gi-Oh! Everything, and welcome back to another Yu-Gi-Oh! Video. This time we will be going over 20 errors and mistakes that were made throughout the Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Monsters series. Now, I've already done a video like this for Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds, and I do plan to do a video like this for all of the other Yu-Gi-Oh! Shows as well. So I do want to start off by saying that when a show has to run pretty much every week for the last 2 decades, there are going to always be a few errors every now and again. No one is perfect, and again, when you have to produce a show at that kind of pace, mistakes are bound to happen. So we are looking at anything that is mistakenly animated, from incorrect effects, from wrong levels, from wrong life points, anything like that will make up this list. We will only be looking at the Japanese version. The English dub has a few mistakes on their own, so we are only going to be focusing on the original Japanese version. We will also be skipping Duelist Kingdom, because Duelist Kingdom was an arc that was going on before the card game had any rules, so there is a lot of crazy stuff that happens in that season. So I've just omitted it from this list altogether. Maybe I'll have a full-on video explaining all of the things that would have not been allowed in the game if there was a game back when Duelist Kingdom was going on. Maybe that'll be a separate video. But without further ado, let's get to it. 20 errors and mistakes that took place during the Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Monsters anime. I hope you guys enjoy. We will begin in episode 45. During the Legendary Heroes arc, Seto Kaiba summons a monster known as Trap Master. Trap Master is a level 3 flip effect monster, which lets you select a card when it is flip summoned, and if it is a trap, you can destroy it. Effect monsters have an orangish tint to their card color, as we all know. However, when this monster is summoned in episode 45, it has the same yellowish color as a normal, non-effect monster would have, which is incorrect. In episode 51, Komarai Dragon is summoned by Yugi during his duel against Bandit Keith. Komarai Dragon has 1500 attack points in the actual game, and when we see the monster in Yugi's hand, it appears to have 1500 attack as well. However, when this card is destroyed by Zera the Mant, the damage to Yugi is calculated as if the dragon has 1700 attack points, when in reality, it only has 1500 attack, meaning Yugi's life points should be 200 instead of 400 after the Zera attack. When Yugi takes on the Exodia Rare Hunter in episode 57, he summons Alpha the Magnet Warrior in defense position. Alpha has 1700 defense points. However, when he is summoned in this episode, it incorrectly displays 1000 defense points. It's not unheard of to see incorrect attack or defense point displays, but they are worth pointing out since they do happen pretty seldomly. Another fun fact about this duel, this is the only duel in Yugi's career that he won without taking a single point of damage. In episode 58, we see Esper Roba take on Joey. Early on in this duel, Esper summons Cyber Raider and attacks Joey directly. Joey has his dual disc on his left arm and is holding his cards in his right hand prior to and after this attack. For some reason, as this attack lands, we see Joey get thrown back and his dual disc and cards are just gone. Then when he lands on the ground after the attack, his dual disc is back, but the cards in his hand are still missing. I'm not sure why they chose not to animate the cards and dual disc in the scene, since they usually do animate those items in a direct attack shot. I'd imagine they just forgot to do it for this one specific scene. One of Yugi's more iconic monsters is his trusty swordsman, Buster Blader. Buster Blader, as we all know, is a level 7 monster in the actual card game and in the anime. During Yugi's duel against Strings, we get the privilege of seeing this monster for the first time. Before Yugi summons it, we get to see the card in his hand, which is when this mistake occurs. When Buster Blader is in Yugi's hand, we can clearly see that it is a level 6 monster, when it actually is a level 7 monster. A few episodes later, we have a coloring mistake similar to the Earthbound God one that we saw in Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds. When Alligator Sword is summoned by Joey during his duel against Mako Tsunami, we can see that the bottom part of his mouth is incorrectly colored green. Normally, the top part of Alligator Sword's face is green, while the bottom is a more beige color. I guess the animators just thought screw it and colored his entire face green for this one scene. Definitely an honest mistake, and honestly, the all-green face coloration does look really cool in my opinion. In episode 72, we see some of Marik's rare hunters chasing after Mokuba. They split up and try to find him, and as you can see, 2 go in one direction, and the other 2 go in an opposite direction. We then see a close-up of Mokuba hiding moments later, and 3 rare hunters go past him, even though we literally just saw a moment ago that they split off into groups of 2. Either the rare hunters have teleporting abilities, or this is just a very minor continuity error. My money is on the latter. The Battle City quarterfinals are about to begin. As the 8 qualifying duelists head towards Kaiba's Battle Blimp in episode 81, they are required to show 6 locator cards. Yugi, Joey, and Mai are among these duelists that have received 6 locator cards and are eligible to advance. However, when all 3 of them show their cards, they each incorrectly show 7 instead of 6. Switching up 6s and 7s is just a theme with the show. First Buster Blader and now this. Too bad Mai couldn't use one of those non-existent extra locator cards to have a redo against Marek. This next one is probably my personal favorite. Yugi takes on Bakura in an unsettling duel to open up the Battle City quarters. At one point in episode 82, as you can see by the clip on screen, Yugi takes his draw phase and draws from his own hand. Yugi's drawing ability has transcended that of normal duelists, and now he can pull whatever card he needs in his hand without drawing it from his deck. The card he drew for reference is Dark Magician Girl, but Yugi's ability to draw from his hand is certainly a method that will be studied for centuries. It's a minor animation issue regarding Odeon that actually happened quite a bit to him. At various points during the show, his face tattoo would actually be displayed on the opposite side of his face. One instance of this is during his duel with Joey in episode 86. As you can see, when we see Odeon's face after his monster is destroyed, his tattoo is incorrectly on the wrong side of his face. Putting incorrect attack counters is something that happens every so often in Yu-Gi-Oh! Vorse Raider is a very strong level 4 monster which boasts 1900 attack. Seto Kaiba summons this monster in episode 93 during his duel with the Shizu. At one point, Kaiba's spell card Shrink cuts down the attack of his monsters by half. Vorse Raider would have 950 attack due to this effect. Once Shrink affects Vorse Raider, we can see its total attack is actually listed at 1950, even though it should be listed at 1900. Speaking of incorrect attack stats, sometimes during the show we actually see incorrect stat name displays. For example, in episode 112, instead of displaying Machine King's attack points as attack, it displays the life point counter instead, as if Machine King has its own life points as well. This also happens to Joey's Gearfried in episode 124, just 12 episodes later. In episode 133, during the epic clash between Yugi and Kaiba, Joey is in recovery after his loss to Marek. Joey has a dream that he is dueling someone back in Domino City. The tournament he is competing in takes place before the Duelist Kingdom tournament. This is important because during this dream, Joey uses the card Sword and Shield against his opponent. However, Sword and Shield is a card he obtained on the boat going towards Duelist Kingdom, meaning he shouldn't have this card from a timeline perspective. But hey, since this is a dream, and dreams can be extremely weird and unexplainable, this is one of the ones on the list that might not necessarily be a mistake or an error. Here is a bit of an early blunder in Season 4, which was an anime-exclusive arc. It was stated multiple times that when the Seal of Orichalcos is played, it creates a barrier that nothing can break, meaning nothing can leave and nothing can enter until a soul is taken. However, in episode 146, before Gurimo loses his soul, he throws Yugi's Obelisk card through the barrier to the rest of his team, creating a small continuity error. The most popular girl duel monster, Dark Magician Girl, easy. Unfortunately, she is susceptible to being on this list as well. It actually happens after the famous Draw Monster Cardo scene at the end of the Yugi Weevil duel. When Taya finally gets Yugi to calm down, he takes a look at the card he just drew, which was Dark Magician Girl. As we all know, Dark Magician Girl is a level 6 monster, but for some reason in this shot, she is represented as a level 5 monster, which is incorrect. Let's take a quick look at the final duel of Season 4, Darts versus Yugi and Kaiba. At one point, Yugi plays Diffusion, and Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon returns to Kaiba's field. Seems normal, but when we take a look at Kaiba's duel disc, we can see it is displaying his regular Blue Eyes White Dragon instead. It would have been funny if his duel disc had 3 Blue Eyes and a copy of Fusion on it, which would prove that they were aware of this mistake and were trying to see if anyone would catch it. Either way, like most of the ones on this list, it's a simple, honest mistake. In episode 184, we have yet another coloring error. Rex Raptor wears a green jacket over a yellow shirt. This has not changed once during the show. However, during the conclusion of Season 4, we see Rex has a black shirt under his green jacket instead of a yellow one. Unless he went through a wardrobe change at the end of the season, this is another coloration error. In episode 189, during the Rebecca Hawkins-Vivian duel, which, yes, was a duel that actually happened, Rebecca plays a monster known as Marie the Fallen One. Much like the very first spot on this list, this monster card is incorrectly represented. Marie the Fallen One is very much an effect monster, but her card coloring has the same coloring as a normal non-effect monster would have. Fast forwarding to episode 198, we have another incorrect attack point listing. This is the episode where the duel between Yugi and Leon continues. When Yugi gets Jacks, Kings, and Queen's Knight onto his field, they all put their swords together and their attack counter is displayed. King's Knight has 1600 attack, but is shown to incorrectly boast 1900 attack. This was actually corrected in the English dub, making it one of the rare instances that the 4Kids dub was more accurate than the original version. The final one on this list takes place in episode 216, which is the duel between Bakura and Yugi. Bakura blows up his own graveyard by using the effect of Cursed Twin Dolls. When his grave is destroyed by this effect, it shows all of his monsters in the graveyard. As you can see, one of the monsters that is shown to us as being in his graveyard is his Disgraced Mage. However, earlier in the duel, Disgraced Mage was returned to the deck thanks to its own effect, meaning Disgraced Mage was not, or never for that matter, in the graveyard during this duel, making it an extra monster that the animators did not have to animate into that scene. Maybe they realized this was a mistake before the episode aired, but thought, we took the time to animate it into the scene, let's just leave it there. And if that's how things played out, I don't blame them at all. And that pretty much wraps it up. 20 errors and mistakes that took place during the Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Monsters anime. Again, I am not bashing on these mistakes in any way whatsoever. I just think it's a fun list to point out, a fun topic to discuss, some little mistakes and errors that take place. And when you're asking a team, once again, to animate episodes week in and week out for the better part of 2 decades, there's obviously going to be mistakes and errors. So I really have no issue with any of these mistakes taking place during these episodes. I just think, again, it is a fun sort of list and discussion to have with you all. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you learned something new, and if there was anything that I may have missed, please let me know down below. I know there was a lot of things like this that took place during Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Monsters, and I will be doing this again for GX, Arc 5, Zexal, and eventually Yu-Gi-Oh! VRains. A special thank you to my Platinum tier patrons Alexa Baker, Glen McGookin, Jorge Carrillo, James Rose, and Omni Lord, and to my Diamond tier patrons Bouldergeist, Odd Eyes Vaughn, and Jesse Wood, and to my Egyptian God tier patron Syn Cloud. A huge thank you to everyone who helps me out on Patreon, because it really does help me out dramatically. I cannot tell you how much I appreciate it. And a huge thank you to everyone who just watches these videos, because without you guys, I would not be able to do this, and I really do love to make videos for you all. So thank you all for watching. Please leave all your thoughts down below, and I hope you have an amazing day.